Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website about reimagining your life. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about making difficult choices. So let's get started. If you like what you hear, please leave a like and tell your friends and send me a message. Actually, I want to apologize. Last week there I was early. This week, it turns out everything was all set to be early, and then sometimes things just come up that you don't expect. So that's what happened tonight, and as it happened, it's going to be what I'm talking about because it's all plays together. Because sometimes situations arise where it's better just to finish off the situation and get one piece of your life done and move forward. So we're going to talk about all of that. So last week I mentioned that I had a lot of things going on in my life, and as often happens, um, time sometimes makes things a lot clearer. But getting to that point was just for me particularly difficult. And one of my favorite sayings is physician, heal thyself. In other words, it's easier to fix someone else than to change yourself. Basically, I had the opportunity for an employment change with a group of people that I know well and really, really like. They're old friends, and I really enjoy their company. And there are many exciting aspects to the opportunity. And of course, whenever, wherever you are already is kind of at a disadvantage because you already know all the problems. And, truly the grass is always greener when you consider the unknown. But after a few meetings and a lot of stepping back and describing the situation to other people, and honestly, one of the best ways to clarify something, teaching obviously is the best way to learn and clarify something. The next best way is discussing it with somebody in depth. So after discussing this with a number of friends, I realized that I was approaching this, way too much like an engineer and not enough like a life coach, if you understand what I mean. And so, hence the physician quote. So, I went back and reevaluated everything in terms of life impact and my own goals. And that helped clear up a lot of questions and decisions. Plus, a lot of times we tend to ignore the good that's in things right in front of us. And I was forgetting to do what I encourage you to do, to step back and evaluate all the possible paths forward in terms of how they support our own goals and vision. Someone who's always been an inspiration to me in the company where I work has always made a point to excel at everything she does, no matter how seemingly trivial. This puts her in a different mindset and also creates a different path for her in the company itself because she's known as someone who always gets things done, the person who's always nice. And she has the same stresses and pressures that I do. And plus, I happen to know she has some personal ones, things that I just can't imagine. But she's made the choice to react differently than I have. And she's made a different path for herself forward. It's really up to each one of us to make the most of what we have. That rarely, we look at a situation, we tend to think it is what it is, that it's fixed. But usually the situation isn't fixed and often it can be improved. But I, and a lot of us, always tend to think of improvement as having to look somewhere else, find something better somewhere else. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. That doesn't mean you should ignore any problems that you have or challenges in the current situation. But the cure for that problem may actually come from within us, not just by looking to try something new. Because every new situation will just have new challenges as well. I had tried to avoid getting focused on the negative side of things where I work right now, but sometimes negative thoughts just seem to kind of creep into your perceptions. And as I say, they creep in a little cat's feet. You don't really hear them, you don't see them, but over time you look and you say, wow, I really haven't given this a fair shake. Now, I realize that it's up to me to change my attitude and to try and change my situation so that then I can make the most of the situation and improve other areas of my life by not being so stressed about this one. It's always difficult when you have a decision and both sides have a lot of good points to them. I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but you have to remember that both sides also have challenges and nothing's ever really perfect. I had done a whole, list of pluses and minuses, that sort of comparison, but that doesn't really capture the secondary effects. And that's what really made the difference. The really good part is that even though I passed on one fantastic opportunity, and truly it is fantastic, I adore the people. I truly do. I respect them professionally. They're great friends. Um, but by passing on that, it refocused my attention in areas where I could improve not only my existing situation, but also other areas of my life at the same time. I was particularly fortunate to have obvious choices, right? There's choice A, choice B is very obvious. But many situations we have other choices, but we don't realize it. The changes I'm planning to make could have been made at any point, but it just took an outside influence to make me realize that they were even there right along. So it was good to, it was a good reminder and a good life lesson that when you're faced with a difficult situation, it's often best to just kind of step back and evaluate it in terms of whether it supports your life vision or not. Then the life will usually be, the answer rather, the choice will usually become pretty clear, although not necessarily easy. That's actually, I was speaking with my friend before this, which is why I didn't try and cut the call short. I wanted to honor him and give him as much time as we wanted to go through the whole situation. And it was a tough conversation because I do truly respect him, and I thought he was more than fair in the offer that he made. But sometimes you just have to look at it and say, this is a really good offer, but because of my vision and my goals, it's not a really good offer for me. And that's why I say it may become clear, but nothing says it's going to be easy. So, if you come across a difficult situation, go back to basics, think about what your life vision is, and hopefully that will clear things up for you and make it as easy as it can be. Also, last week I mentioned the book by Oprah Winfrey and Arthur C. Brooks, Build the Life You Want, The Art and Science of Getting Happier. I did start to read that. It's looking pretty good so far. I didn't get quite as far into it as I had expected to. I had to do some business travel in the middle of the week, and it was a hectic week. But it's off to a good start. So hopefully I'll have a lot more to tell you about it next week, and we'll see where it goes from there. So that's it for the evening. I hope you use this a little bit, because we all have decisions, sometimes difficult decisions, all the time through life. Things happen, and it's kind of like, this is a pretty good thing, and this is a pretty good thing. Which way should I go? Or, sometimes, unfortunately, this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing. Which way should I go? Go back to your basic core beliefs. Go back to your fundamental wants and wishes and hopes and dreams, and that vision that you put into your life. And that'll usually guide you to get to where you want to be. Your homework, always optional, is to think about some existing situation that you're either in or been in recently that you would have liked to have been better, and try and see how changing your attitude could have made it more tolerable, possibly even enjoyable. And of course, extra points, always extra points question. If you also think about how your attitude affected others around you and affected the situation itself, and maybe inadvertently you made a challenging situation even more challenging, and how you could have been kind of an agent for positive change instead, and maybe what you found to be a challenging situation never would have even existed. This isn't a blame the victim sort of thing. This is just, remember, we do affect the world around us. So if you have a positive attitude, you tend to get positive outcomes. Doesn't always work out, to the degree that we'd like it to, but certainly you can make the best of the opportunity that presents to you. So that's it for the evening. UKR7, of course, still up. Unfortunately, I apologize. I did not get the updates in this week. Definitely, if you want to make a donation, the war is definitely can use some work. Winter's coming, starting to get rainy season and cold snow. So go to UKR7, lots of links, a place you can make donations to, and also link to the World Central Kitchen, wck.org, and mention them often. Jose Andres, and they work in areas where there have been natural disasters. I would expect they're probably over in Morocco and Libya at this point, or will be soon. They are known for going and setting up areas to get food to people who are impacted. So awesome group to support if you're able to. World Central Kitchen and UKR7.com. And as always, we always say, one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. It changes the focus from looking inside to looking outside, and changes your perspective on the world. It's a great way to improve your vision and help somebody if you can. And it's not necessarily just by giving money. Any way you can help somebody and support, just giving them either verbal support, however you can, give it a shot. I think you'll be pleased how it works out. As always, thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting or useful, please pass it along, and please hit that like button. If not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Have a great week. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.